Now we'll look at an example where we're actually using that mass volume concentration to figure out the amount of glucose solution that needs to be given. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the problem and get out any information which I think I might need to solve the problem. So the first thing is, it says I need 100 grams of glucose. So I want to write that out. It says it's over 12 hours. And it says what volume in liters, so I'm going to write volume equals question mark liters. That's just kind of a little reminder that that's what I'm actually looking for in the problem. And then it says it's a 5% mass volume solution. So what that tells me is I can rewrite that, I can expand that unit and write it as 5.0 grams of glucose in 100 milliliters of solution. And so anytime I see those percentages, I can always write it as grams of a substance over that 100 mils of solution, because a percentage is based out of 100. So now I've got to figure out what I'm going to start with and what I need to use as a conversion factor or as a relationship. Now when I look at this, I notice it tells me over the next 12 hours, but it doesn't really, there's no conversion factors with that, there's nothing per dose or per hour. So what I see is I'm not actually going to use that piece of information to solve the problem. It's just looking for the total volume given over that entire time period. So now I have to decide which unit or which number I'm going to start with. If I start with 100 grams versus the 5 grams over 100 mils of solution. Now, when I look at this guy, what I see is this is a relationship between the mass of glucose and the volume of the solution. So this looks more like a conversion factor. It's a relationship between two things, whereas the glucose just gives me one single amount. So if you're not sure where to start and you see a number that only has one unit with it, not like a compound unit like I see here, I'm going to start with the number that only has one unit with it. So I'm going to start with 100 grams of glucose. Then I can use my percentage here that I was given, and I see that grams has to go on the bottom because I need grams to cancel out with grams here. So I have 5 grams of glucose in 100 milliliters, and I can't change this number. I've got to leave it as 100 because that relationship is true. Remember that whenever I put a conversion factor in here like this, whatever's on the top and bottom must be equal to one another. So then I have my grams cancel with grams. I'm left with milliliters, but my problem is asking for liters, so I need to do one more step and go from 1,000 milliliters to 1 liter. Now my units of milliliters cancel out. When I look at my units, the only unit I have left is in fact liters. So now I can actually do the math. So I take 100 times 100 divided by the 5, then divided by 1,000, and I get 2 liters. So my volume equals 2.0 liters of solution needs to be given.